Hi, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leva Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TbT and Ace.
Welcome.
That's still there from last week?
Well, yeah, I had to put that back up because, you know, it's funny.
Why is it funny?
Because you've got that look. You've just got that look. Like, I'm going to kick your butt. I won't admit that it was a mistake that I put it up there. So it doesn't matter.
He anyway. Told me to give, his words were, give me a little, that's what I did. And that's what I did.
Yeah. Welcome. This is episode 134 of the Weekly Pour podcast. I am TbT. I go over there. That's Ace. Welcome. It is what is it today? The 6th of May, 2025. The chat's already hopping. If you're watching us live via the Facebooks or the YouTubes, jump into the chat, say hi. The chat's already hopping with quite a few people. Mama TBT's in. Sandra's in there. Who else is in there? Kathy, of course, is in there. And who's that? Oh, that's the moderator. Natalie. That's her new name, Natalie. Oh yeah, we gave her another title last week.
Producer.
Yeah, so she is producer and moderator. We'll stick with that this week. So welcome everybody. Jump in there, say hi. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Natalie's already told you to do it, but just like us, we don't listen to her either. Hit that thumbs up because that helps. We got a ton of news this week. By the way, I do love your metallic shirt. That's very cool. Very pretty. Very
Thank
blue.
You. I'm a big Metallic fan.
Yeah, Metallic is one of my favorite bands as well. I love their song. Enter the Sandman is great.
I thought it was just sand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just that song Sand. And On. And Master of the Puppet. Inside joke. Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. I think Kathy got it.
Yeah, she knows.
Good. I appreciate the metallic shirt. I think it's also funny that we're using the same coffee mug tonight.
Awesome.
It's only because I forgot to wash the other one. It's only been a week.
What are you trying to say? This was a gift. I bought this for you.
Yeah, I know, but I have two. I can't double fist it like Natalie.
That's terrible.
Did I say something? I'm sorry.
That's terrible.
I'm sorry.
Terrible. She's not like that.
Whatever. Hey, I don't know if you realize this, and Kathy's got to throw something in here because, you know, she's enjoying this nice weather right now. I'm going to see if I can pull this up because I don't know if you realize just how screwed up our weather was. I had no plans on doing this, but now I have to talk about it.
What's that? I mean, it was cold this week. It warmed up today. It rained a lot. What are you talking about?
Well,
that's not unusual.
Talking about the fact that our weather looked like that.
When did it look like that?
This was Monday and Tuesday, to where we had something.
There's some sort of round. Well, two round mounds in the middle of the map.
And right in the middle of those, I think it is fair to say when I left for work that morning, it was a bit nipply.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it's chilly.
Is that some sort of rare storm front that moves through only once in a while?
Yes. Yes, it really just it shows up in a flash. Just a quick flash. Yeah. I
And
could
then it's
keep going
gone.
with that, but we won't. It was weather. Well, Natalie already said it. It was boobs with a chance of rain. It was titillating. I'll give her that one. She's such a
Good one.
boob. Yeah. Oh, good grief. We have literally a ton of news this week. A
Yeah, you
ton.
pulled up stuff I didn't even get a chance to look at yet, but I was looking at things earlier this morning, and then you jumped all over it and found all kinds of stuff.
It's because I just kept getting bombarded with stuff between emails and messages. And I mean, you sent a couple things, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And we go from what was it, like 2 weeks ago, when there was like literally nothing going on, to now we're just getting bombarded with stuff. And I think it was because of that weather phenomenon. It was just there.
There.
Yeah, just, and I don't know, but it worked out. We can go into other stuff. We'll talk about your week and what you've got coming up here soon. But number one, I do want to put a real quick thing out and say, for the first time in nearly 4 years, if not a little bit over 4 years, we finally have a hard rock band that has taken the number one spot on the Billboard 200 chart. That is outstanding. And we owe it all to Ghost.
Right. They became the first hard rock band in 4 years to land number one in the U.S. on the album chart. There was a lot of hype to this record.
For sure.
We've heard about this for several weeks now. How do you say it's Skeleta is the name of the record?
Right. I was going to say, no, it's Ghost.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
The band is Ghost. The album is Skeleta. And it landed at the number one position on the Billboard charts with, get this, 86,000 equivalent album units earned in the U.S. 89% of that figure, 77,000, consisted of traditional album sales, with vinyl purchases accounting for, ready, 44,000 copies.
Yeah.
That should make Kathy happy.
Absolutely. The LP's first week vinyl tally not only marks the biggest vinyl sales week for a hard rock album in the modern era, which is since tracking started in 1991, but it is the third largest sales week of vinyl in the modern era for any rock album, trailing only Blink 182.
Right.
And I don't even want to say the other one. Boy Genius. And those were both in 2023. So here we are 2 years later, and Ghost just goes out there and tears them up.
I shouldn't be surprised. I am surprised at the LP sales.
Yes.
I shouldn't be surprised that they're doing well, I guess. But to be number one on the album chart, though, that's a pretty big deal. I actually, you don't have it pulled up probably, but I'd love to see who they beat out.
I don't,
because there's probably a lot of pop acts that got beat out, on something like that.
I'm going to look and see if I can see real quick. I don't know. When did this come out? I got to go back to that. So this
Probably
was announced
Sunday or Monday.
This was announced yesterday. And
okay.
So I don't
so here
think
it is.
They haven't updated it online yet because it's still showing the week of May 3rd.
This is week of May 10th, 2025. Billboard 200. Skeleta, the new album by Ghost.
Okay.
SOS by Za. Gen X by Kendrick Lamar. Morgan Wallen, unfortunately, has a record out. One Thing at a Time. The Venerable Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet. Some Sexy Songs for You by
Oh,
Party
yeah.
Next Door and Drake.
That's Natalie's
Debbie
favorite. Don't even
Debbie
try to.
Tirari Mas Debbie Tiar Mas Fotos by Bad Bunny.
Yeah, your Spanish is incredible.
Is that Spanish?
Yes, Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican.
Yeah, but it just looks like Debbie Tiara Mas Fotos.
Yeah, it's something about more photos.
Something called a Shabuzi had an album called Where I've Been, Is It Where I'm Going? And then Playboy Cardi Music, simple name for a record, music. And then Morgan Wallen or Waylon, whatever he is, again,
That rounds out
a
the
double
top
album.
10.
That's the top 10. So,
Yeah,
you know, no other rock act on that chart, not even Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift is down at number 17, by the way.
Got to be there somewhere, right?
Well, and I'm scrolling down looking for another rock act. Number 30 is Fleetwood Mac with the album Rumors, which has currently been on
Are
the
you
charts.
kidding?
It's been on the charts for 631 weeks.
Right. I mean, that's phenomenal right there, but it's even more interesting to me that it's number 30.
Right.
That's
I'm
impressive.
looking for more. There's Taylor
Okay, so
Swift again.
more Bad Bunny.
The Best of Nickelback, Volume 1, at number 55.
Un Verano Senti,
I
Bad
knew you
Bunny.
were going to find that one.
Damn, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of rock music here at all.
With 744 weeks on the chart, Chronicle, the 20 greatest hits from Creedence Clearwater Revival, sits at 62.
How long?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
700.
744 weeks that's been on the charts?
I can beat it.
Where?
I can beat it.
Okay.
At number 71 on the chart for 855 weeks, Journey's
my
greatest
Lord.
hits by Journey.
That blows me away. Hasn't everyone bought that already by now?
Well, look at number 77.
Okay.
That's 720 weeks.
Nevermind by Nirvana.
And then drop to number 84.
Wow. Bob Marley, greatest hits record, right?
Yeah.
885 weeks on the chart. 800. Bob Marley? Really?
Yeah. I don't think I can beat that. I'm down into the 130s, and the only thing that's close would be Michael Jackson's Thriller at 676 weeks on the chart, sitting at number 139. We've just went down a rabbit hole that I do not think we're going to get out of.
Look at this. 110. Teenage Dream, Katy Perry.
Who?
Yeah, Katy Perry is at 110 for 420 weeks.
Huh.
420 weeks for a pop record.
I got it. At number 172 on the charts for 787 weeks. Peak position of number 1, Metallica, the Black Album.
Oh. Yeah, here's Aerosmith's greatest hits, but only 84 weeks on the chart at 161.
Right.
What does this say about the state of music and the state of rock in music? What does it say when we're hearkening back 20, 30, 40 years? Even a greatest hits package, those songs like Journey, those are from the 80s or prior.
True. What I'm going to say is it's just because there's so much. We are saturated with music. I don't care what genre it is, between pop country, because it's definitely not country, rap, R&B, there's rock stuff out there. We're gonna end up getting a lot of albums this year, but I think it's just been so saturated that the rock fans, it's not paying off. However, I think with Ghost jumping up to that number one spot for the first time in 4 years, we could be seeing a trend back to the rock era for a little while, especially when you take into account the tours. Look how good the tours are doing. These albums, the top 200, these are great. But think about the tours,
Right.
the Creed, the Metallic that's been going on now for 10 years, it seems. These
Feels like it.
rock acts and Sammy Hagar, and who we'll talk about here in a little bit. But, with these rock acts coming out and doing all of these things, and I mean, they're selling out. Your Motley Crues, your Def Leppards, all your stuff from the 80s. I think it'll come back, and it's gonna be like the tide. It's just gonna ebb and flow. So
I think your other chance for a band selling well, album wise, might be your favorite there, Sleep Token.
True.
I think they're modern enough, different enough that they could probably pull something. Maybe not number one, but they could chart higher than the top 10.
So
Would be my guess.
yeah, the right now, so Sleep Token, that album comes out in 3 days. That is even in Arcadia, that will come out in 3 days. I would not be surprised because of the amount of they have basically blown up social media with coming up with advertisements and just a social media blitz for this album. There's a lot of anticipation. There's been 3 songs released from it already. I think I'm going to go on record right now and say it'll be number one. It may even debut at number one. I don't know who else is coming out Friday. One of our former guests, they're actually debuting a new single on Friday, Bridges Ablaze. They've got a song coming out Friday called Frozen. Not an album, just a single. I don't know of any other albums. I've not looked at the list that are coming out on May 9th. But I'm going to go and say right now that Sleep Token will be number one. So we may end up, and a lot of people are going to argue about this because they're going to say, well, they're not rock. It depends on the song you listen to. Some of the stuff off their previous albums have been very, very heavy. And the first song we got off of this album ended up being very heavy, once you got farther into it, Emergence. So I have a good feeling that that's going to end up, I'm going to say, debuting at number one.
The list for May 9th for rock is not, it's a lot of obscurity as far as I'm concerned. Arcade Fire, I've heard of.
Right.
And then Sleep Token, Behemoth, Black Map, Butthole Surfers.
Yeah, they're back.
K-Mass. I mean, a lot of those types of bands that I'm not familiar with.
Right.
So there's no, so the competition is not there this week. We'll see. And then you got to remember, the Ghost record is still out there at number one this week. Doesn't mean it'll drop. That's the trend, is for debuts to hit number one and then it happens with a lot of rock acts on the rock charts, like Def Leppard, bands like that.
Right.
Bon Jovi, famously, the last Bon Jovi record hit number one and died, like a cruel death.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm more interested now in week 2 for the Ghost record.
Yeah. I think Sleep Token will knock it out.
Right. Maybe knock it out of number one. Maybe knock it out of number one. But if they stay in the top 10, that's a feat right there.
Right. Not only do we get new Sleep Token, we've got this new Ghost, which I believe they only have one song released off of that one so far, I think. I really don't know. I'm gonna have to look. I think both of us have finally listened to it. It's just different. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But I mean, this is the hottest Swedish band to come out of Sweden since ABBA.
Right. What I like about, I don't listen to Ghost all the time, but when I do, and what I like,
right,
is they are melodic rock. I would call it melodic.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is very, very catchy. Not in an anthem sense, but in a melodic sense. Lyrically, I couldn't tell you what they're talking about because the old man in me wants to say they're Satanist and want to worship the devil. But I remember too, they said that about my music. Right. They said that about my music when I was a kid.
Yes.
So it's all an act.
Kathy, she hits the nail on the head when you asked a while ago, what does that chart say about, the state of rock? She says it says the last good music was made 40 years ago. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, and you've got Michael Jackson Thriller.
Right.
Still on the charts. Metallica's Black Album.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Metallica has put out records since the Black record, Black Album. Nickelback has. My gosh, these bands that are still around and touring, a lot of them will put out new music. But that's also the reason bands don't put out new music, because in their mind, no one cares.
Right.
Because when they tour, what are they playing? They're playing the greatest hits. Journey put out a record just a year and a half ago.
Right.
I don't know that they played on tour, at all. I mean, there's an argument for each. I mean, if you're an artist and you want to create art, that's what you do. You put out records. On the other hand, this is the whole split with Ann and Nancy Wilson and Hart. You have one camp saying, why are we putting out new records?
Yeah.
When we could just play the greatest hits, and you have the other end saying, well, I'm an artist, so let's put out new music.
Right.
I mean, it's half a dozen of one and 6 cents of another, or however that phrase goes, or whatever. But
I don't even know what that means, but yes. Well, in this kind of, for a lack of a better argument, I guess, this kind of goes along with not releasing an album and just putting out singles, which we have brought up numerous times between ourselves and with guests.
Yes.
And it is just today's day and age. You're not going to, presumably, you're not going to sell the album, but people are going to get those singles. So why spend the money on putting out a media blitz for an album? Obviously, unless you're Sleep Token, who is literally telling a story throughout their albums.
I mean, if you're a band that knows you can put out good quality 2-3 singles, and maybe your album is honestly, maybe it's filler outside of 3 songs.
Sure.
Why waste your time? Let's put out what we're good at. Here's 3 songs.
Yeah.
And we'll put them out here and there. And then mix them in the set, because that's the one
Exactly.
I mean, I was looking at Mark McKay, his stuff not that long ago. A guest of ours on the show, country artist. And he has yet to put out a full length record. Everything's an EP.
Yep.
5 of this and 4 of that, and just little bits of this and that, because I don't know really how much original material he needs to even go on tour these days.
Yeah.
Honestly, just to tour. I mean, Mark is a great performer, but he's not a headline act in country music, but he's able to survive as an artist by just opening for other acts, even rock acts that we've talked about with him.
Right.
So, what is the point of putting out full length records hoping that country music will play it?
Yeah.
He builds his own fan base. They cut, the ones that come and see him, and then he goes home.
Well, and to jump on that bandwagon, Inside the Trojan Horse, who we talked to a month ago, they were talking about their new EP that's going to be coming out, and they said it was going to be out early summer or sometime in May, and we find out finally it's going to come out on May 23rd. But again, there's another band. They're not new individually to the scene, but they get it, and they know it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, because it's 12 of one or 24 of the other. Is that how it goes?
Right. It's something like that.
Yeah.
And also, so many of artists now are able to build a studio in their own house. Not too far different from what we're doing right now.
Right.
You don't need a big mixing board or anything like that. You need an iPad, an iPhone, whatever, and come in and jam and record it.
Yeah.
And you know what? You hit send or whatever, and you upload it to iTunes. And then you do social media and blitz the crap out of it to the people that know who you are.
Yeah. Another perfect example, which is one of the bands we were going to talk about tonight anyway, Faster Pussycat. 40 years performing, putting out music. May 16th, they're putting out a new single. Brand new single from Faster Pussycat. Not an album, but just a single. It's called Motorbike. It is an adrenaline-fueled track available to pre-save today on all major streaming platforms. It is said that Motorbike captures the gritty, fast-lane energy that has made the band icons of the late 80s hard rock scene, delivering a roaring joyride of sleaze, swagger, and attitude. That tells me that we have finally broken completely away from their days of goth. And now we're sticking and going back to sleaze, swagger, and attitude. I remember seeing them maybe 2001, and it wasn't, Tame Me Down with the big blonde hair and all the, glitz and glamour. They were all dressed in black. His hair was dyed black, and they were all gothy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You'll have to look that up. Crazy. This song goes back to sex, rock and roll, and motorcycles. The lyrics are tongue-in-cheek. You can take them how you want. Tame Me Down says he started riding Motorbike about a decade ago. So 10 years to get this single put together. And then, of course, the pandemic happened, and he just basically forgot about it. It's been recorded a couple times before, but he feels that they finally got it right. Fans will be thrilled to learn that a limited edition 7-inch of Motorbike printed on Pussycat Purple is also available to order. So yeah, and what every band seems to be doing this. Let's put out a single. Let's put it on vinyl. Make it weird colors. Make it whatever. And try to sell it that way. But people are digging it because people are going to go. They're going to, pre-buy it or whatever on your streaming platforms or whatever. But it seems like everybody's kind of doing that same thing. And that's going to be on May 16th. So what's that? That's a week away. So
a week away.
So.
Right. And nothing you said there mentioned a follow-up, an album, nothing. It was like, we're pushing this single, because that's what we have. And it captures all the things that we've been known for.
Right.
Not a record, but that one song.
Yeah.
And for a band like Faster Pussycat, that's probably the best way to go. Their fans are going to be older, older fans like us.
I was like,
right?
Yeah, we are.
So, I mean, we're going to download it. Yeah. I mean, are we going to the record store, you and I, to buy the new stuff? You know, probably not.
Yeah.
So and I'm not trying to put a downplay anything. I'm just saying
No.
the reality is what we've talked about. The reality is in rock music, getting on the charts is no longer your goal. It seems to be. Kathy put it that 40 years ago was the last really good records. You know, that's how long it's been. That may be true, but there's bands that have put out records like Winger, for instance, has put out lots of good records since their heyday that haven't charted.
What's the benefit
It's just
nowadays of charting?
right. What is the benefit of it? Because, like you said, they're going to tour.
Well, and I get that charting means you have sold so many, which means that you're making money off of this new album, and everybody wants to do that. That's why we put it out. We want to make music. It's art. It's what we do, and we want to make money. But there's to me, I don't see it. I mean, but it's not my business to be in. I don't see the point of it. You know, why am I going to put out an album to try to get to number one when I could just put out a single, get a video, go on tour? I'm not spending, you know, 5 years, 2 years, 3 years putting an album together. I'm going to sit down.
Right.
I'm going to Sammy Hagar this in the middle of my touring, and when I take a break before I go do my residency in Vegas, I'm going to put a song together. I'm going to dream about Eddie. I'm going to put a song together. I'm going to record it with the people that are in my band.
Right.
And I'm going to release it. And then I'm going to do a media blitz. I'm going to do some interviews, some podcasts, some radio stuff. And people are going to buy it. They're going to listen to it.
Right. And Sammy is a guy that's established. The established acts can still put out records because they've got nothing to lose. It's the newer bands that this is hard on.
Right.
Yeah, that's who it's hard on because they've still got to build up a base.
Yeah.
You know, Sammy's got a base. He's doing a residency. He could put out a single, a record, whatever. It doesn't matter to him.
No, not at all. Speaking of Sammy, Sammy was in the news once again for almost the exact same thing he was in for like 3 months ago. Sammy Hagar has once again said, "I don't think I can go on tour again." This was an interview that we were reading off of Blabbermouth. Kudos to Blabbermouth for providing this information. Back in January, Hagar had discussed his unwillingness to tour again. And at that time, he said, "I don't think I want to go on tour anymore. I hate to say that because I don't want to piss my fans off. I'll go out and do a one-off show and do things like that. But the residency, the one that they're doing in Vegas, is going to give me a good extension of my career. That's what I'm hoping for." So now he's basically said the same thing. If this residency is as cool and does as good as I hope, why tour? Again, we're back to the same thing. Why put out an album if I can just put out little, snippets, singles, whatever? Why tour if I can do a residency in Vegas? People traveled, new people.
They come to me.
Exactly. So why not?
Well, like you just said, I interrupted you, but you're saying new fans. I mean, you're making a great point because I've been to Nevada and, went and saw a show. It wasn't one that I thought about seeing. It was when I got there, it was, let's go see a show.
Sure.
Well, right. So if Sammy's got tickets, why not?
Yeah.
Right. And I wonder how many people he's already brought in. Have you seen the videos from the residency?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sound great, don't they? They sound awesome.
Absolutely. But I mean, that's the thing. New fans every night. You're in the same city, yes. But it's a tourist place. People
It's
are
like being a
cycled
Raiders
in and
fan.
out like freaking McDonald's. So
right, and I don't know how long his residency is. I think it's a couple months. That's the way to go. He'll do a couple of months, and then he takes a break. And you know what? come back and do another one.
Exactly.
I mean, there's people. Celine Dion, wasn't she there like forever, like a staple of
she started when
Las
the
Vegas?
Titanic went down and still there.
But yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea of. You remember Branson, Missouri?
Yeah.
And the whole concept behind that, right?
Mm-hmm.
With country music and these established artists building theaters to do the same thing,
right?
And people traveled there and then went and shopped and went to shows and all of that, and it failed miserably in that respect. But that's the idea. People come to Vegas and they see Aerosmith when they do one. Hagar. I mean, there's been numerous bands that do that. Numerous.
And this is a small place. I think it's 5,200 people. The MGM
Oh,
where they're
wow.
doing the residency.
Amazing.
So it's not a it's not a huge stadium. So to me, that's more of an intimate venue. That
Yeah.
might be a better show than going up to Deer Creek or going to a stadium that fits 12,000 people. I'd probably
Right.
pay to go to that Sammy show just because.
Well, you feel like you can almost reach out and touch the band.
Yeah, I mean, it's much like going to Brown County.
Yes, yes. That was a great venue.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, I just found it. It's 5,200. It's the MGM Resorts International.
And it's not just Sammy that's older. He's 77. It's not just him. Michael Anthony, Satriani's probably the youngest one, or Aronoff, and they're getting up there. So yeah, the rigors of the road gets old. He's done it, gosh, since the early 70s. So I would cut Sammy some slack and understand that, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, someone who is also older, but doesn't seem to want to be stopping, is Joe Perry. At the ripe age of 74, Aerosmith's Joe Perry is taking the Joe Perry Project back on the road this summer for a brief North American tour featuring an all-star lineup of members of 3 big rock bands. The show kicks off in Tampa on August 13th and concludes on August 23rd in New York. It's an 8-show trek, so not a lot of dates. But they'll also make stops in, let's see, Florida, Ontario, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Connecticut. He's an East Coast guy, so he's going to stay on the East Coast.
Easy.
Tickets go on sale this Friday. And who are they playing with, you ask? Well, the Joe Perry Project, lineup includes fellow Aerosmith guitarist Brad Whitford, which is pretty cool. I'm glad to see he's still doing stuff. Touring keyboardist, backing vocalist Buck Johnson. Isn't that a great name? Buck Johnson. He could
Sounds
be
like a baseball
anything.
player.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what business you're in. Buck Johnson.
He sells cars and plays center field.
Yeah. Yeah. Former porn star turned insurance salesman, Buck Johnson. See, it just
News
works.
at 6
with Buck Johnson. Stone Temple Pilots bassist Robert DeLeo and their drummer Eric Kretz, and on lead vocals, and I love this.
That's cool.
Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes. Anybody just sitting there going, "Holy cow, what's up with that?" Well, Robinson has an extensive history with Perry after guesting on the guitarist 2023 album, Switzerland Manifesto, whatever. And he's performed with him in recent years, so that's pretty cool. And plus, the Black Crowes, they were scheduled to be the opener for Aerosmith on their farewell tour that was ultimately canceled. But man, what a lineup!
it's cool, but that leads into something else we're going to talk about because he's not the only Aerosmith member that's doing something. Because
Right.
reports of Steven Tyler's demise are like exaggerated quite a bit, aren't they?
They seem to be, because it wasn't just the other day. I don't have a whole lot on this, but Sharon Osbourne, wife of Ozzy, and of course the Back to the Beginning charity event, which is the Black Sabbath final concert taking place on July 5th at Villa Park in Birmingham, United Kingdom, has just added Steven Tyler and members of Soundgarden to that concert. We talked about this when we seen the video. It was either YouTube, TikTok, whatever. We saw the video of Steven Tyler performing.
Yes.
Two things here. Number one, great to see him back on stage. Number
Yes.
two, I was almost wishing he wasn't on stage because I didn't think he sounded right. I didn't think he sounded very good at all. However, I don't care. It's freaking Steven Tyler. He could sound like Ghost as far as I'm concerned, and I'd still go see him because I love Steven Tyler. Maybe Ghost was a bad example. He could sound like Billy Ray Cyrus, and I'd still go see him. No, that's a bad one too. Whatever.
Well,
you get the point.
Right. So as long as it's real and he's putting forth the effort, it's going to sound what it sounds like, but it's still, like you said, Steven Tyler. And I mean, when was that show? That's been a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
Late winter, something like that. I mean, now we're talking, this is in July 5th, right? July 5th. So, hell, who knows what he sounds like now?
Oh, totally.
He could be greatly improved.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ozzy performs, if that happens and sounds halfway like anything like Ozzy, if he's singing live, to be honest, that would be something.
Yeah. I keep going over the performers for this. It is just
Everybody.
Yeah, it's the who's who of everything. It's 14 bands.
You got the email about us being there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think stage 3, but I'll have to reread it. 10 hours long is the anticipation of this show.
My Lord.
10 hours. And I mean, think about Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Tool, Slayer, Pantera, Gojira, Alice in Chains, Hailstorm, Lamb of God, Anthrax, Mastodon. Those are just the bands. Well, Black Sabbath. Those are just the bands. That's not even talking about all the other performers.
Right.
A performance by a super group of musicians, which that right there tells me, okay, now I know why Steven Tyler's going.
Right, it is.
And some of the others for probably. But Slash, Duff McKagan, Billy Corgan, Fred Durst, Wolfgang Van Halen.
Lizzie Hale will be in that all-star assembly as well.
Yeah.
She mentioned that in a recent interview. I mean, I think organizing this, because Tom Morello is organizing it. And as good as he is at something like this, it's going to be chaos.
Oh, yeah. And
it's just going to be.
I want to touch on what you said about Lizzie Hale. The only female invited to the show.
Oh, really? Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, she is the only female performer that's been invited to perform. What an honor.
That's fascinating because she's the gold standard of new metal women singers, because there's so many now that have come along, after her. And the first one I'm thinking of is Dorothy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, she would be awesome in this.
Yeah,
she would be great. But yeah, wow, like you said, that's the only way to look at it, is that it's an honor that they invited you to be there.
Oh, unreal. So with Steven Tyler now there and members of Soundgarden, on top of Soundgarden getting their nod for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 10 hours. It's just chaos. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's going to be a ton, but my gosh, this is the who's who.
They're going to be flying by the seat of their pants, but that may be awesome.
Yeah.
It might be just really, really awesome. And I mean, tickets to this thing have just flown as far as being there live.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have Ozzy. If he's going to be able to perform in any capacity,
right,
that would be great. I have a feeling that I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll see. Maybe they'll put him on a throne, that throne that we saw at the Hall of Fame, something like
exactly
that.
what I'm betting.
And everyone just sings to Ozzy.
Yeah. Instead of him singing to everybody, now it's our turn.
Right,
Sing
right.
to Ozzy.
Yeah, that would be all right.
Oh, yeah.
I think he wants to be able to do something, but, we have to understand, and so does he, where his limitations lie. And to pull this off and to have this many people want to show up to honor you, that right there says a lot. That says everything.
Not that he needs it, but I mean, would this not put it all into perspective of just how much of an influence not just Ozzy, but Black Sabbath had on the world of rock? These people are stopping what they're doing to go visit and perform, have some tea, crumpets, and fish and chips, and just perform on behalf of Ozzy, for Ozzy, raising money for Parkinson's.
I will say that. Go ahead.
Have we not seen anything like this since? I mean, Farm Aid, Live Aid, Moscow Music Peace Festival. I'm talking rock, so maybe
The
Moscow.
tribute shows for Taylor Hawkins were pretty big. We had 2 of those, and they were pretty big. I'm not sure
I
if they
don't
were
think
this
they were
big,
this big. I mean, this is huge.
but and not to knock this, but it's going to be easy to get everyone there simply because it's festival season in Europe.
Yeah.
So so you got Monsters of Rock, Download, all that stuff is going on. So everyone's going to be over there anyway. So it's not like they've got to fly over and make a special trip. Most of them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at another article on this that had a little bit more info, and basically it's just the surviving members of Soundgarden plus Steven Tyler, and it actually does talk about Tyler making a performance.
Well, there'll be no shortage of people volunteering to sing with Soundgarden.
Yeah, it was.
If they need a singer, line up.
Yeah, absolutely. It was February. We were talking about it. It was February of this year that Steven Tyler sang on 6 songs at his Janie's Fund Grammy after party. So
when was it?
February.
Yeah, late winter, like I said.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Crazy.
So, who knows what he sounds like now? I hope he. I hope he gets to do something. A couple cool Aerosmith songs or whatever. That would be all right.
Or a couple screams.
Right.
Those are always fun.
He was so good at those.
Oh yeah. Like I would watch. I would purposely watch American Idol just to hear him sing his little things. I can't do it because I'll need surgery. This should get Kathy straight up off of her feet. Fresh off of his first public performance in 5 years, David Lee Roth has announced a summer 2025 tour. The former Van Halen singer is currently scheduled to hit the road July 31st in Hollywood, Florida, with 12, count them, 12 newly announced dates, concluding September 14th in Napa. He had previously announced one other show, which was September 12th in Saratoga, California. Excuse me. Tickets go on sale today on Ticketmaster for stops in Hollywood, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Bristol, Virginia, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Huntington, New York, Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, blah, blah, blah.
Did you
Gary,
see where he's coming?
Indiana.
Yes.
I laughed when I seen it. Cincinnati, Ohio, St. Louis, Missouri, Saratoga, California, and of course Napa, California, as I previously mentioned. There's videos out there right now if you want to watch his most recent performance that he had just a couple days ago. It's not bad. It is David Lee Roth. He's older. Has he calmed down any? Yeah, probably not. But it's David Lee Roth. He's I don't know. I haven't looked, but I don't know who's in his band.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Who's in that band currently? That would be interesting. Maybe a bunch of unknowns. I don't know. But he sure as hell isn't getting that original band back together, but that would be great. Oh my
that would be
God.
amazing. I don't think so either. But if you get a chance, check out those videos. They're pretty good. I'm impressed. He's got a backing band and a 4-piece group of backing vocalists. And it works.
So not that long ago, maybe even a week ago, I heard Sammy Hagar talking about the fact that he was talking about Alex, issues with Alex, I think, but talking about how he's the only one keeping this music alive, talking about Van Halen, and especially his version of Van Halen. But now we've got both of them out. Both of them are out touring, and David is going to be playing Van Halen.
He
at least
played
a handful of them.
16 Van Halen songs.
16?
Yeah, this was Saturday night. 16.
Oh, wow.
So he didn't throw 2 or 3 in there. 16.
Yeah, that's interesting because he's got bona fide solo hits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially the first record he had out. That was an amazing record.
Yep.
That was when he was battling with the Hagar version of Van Halen. They were just punching each other out, trying to see who's going to win.
Yeah. Kathy is not a fan.
But he's digging deep in the well of his Botox.
Yes, she states that his Botox has given him a permanent smile. He's just a happy guy.
What is wrong with having a smile?
Or a permanent one. I mean, it worked out for the Joker, right?
Right. Yeah, she is adamantly against Roth. Not a Roth fan.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Yeah. It's like a creepy pedophile smile. All right. All right.
That used to be some of the most fun I used to have messing around on the internet was looking up bad facelifts of Hollywood stars, like Patrick Swayze and the things that made them not look like earthlings.
People.
Right. I used to love doing that.
Oh, who's the guy that was in The Wrestler?
Oh, Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. Classic example.
Mickey Rourke. Yeah, look at old photos of Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
And then look at him now,
Yeah, it's just as bad as looking at Charlotte Flair.
Oh, stop. That's his fault for boxing. Boxing messed him up.
Yeah. This came across the news wire as something like oh my gosh, this is drastic. It's horrible. A rock star is injured and he's going to have emergency surgery.
Yeah. Didn't they make it sound like it was the worst thing to ever happen? I was worried for Richie Sambora's life.
Right. So was I. When I
But
seen
I
this, I
didn't
was
have to
like,
be.
holy moly, what, we can't lose another rocker. And then I read the story. I was like, what? I was like, well, this is why we're not leading with this story, and we led with Ghost instead. But Richie Sambora will undergo surgery next week on his hand because it got broke when he was at the
Quite serious.
Kentucky Derby playing touch football.
How? Touch football? Touch football?
Yeah.
Like, how hard are we touching people?
Well, apparently, he was touched right into a curb. That's not touch football.
I hope it wasn't David Lee Roth, because this all sounds weird and creepy, and I could just picture him with that smile.
He's standing
like
over him with
running
his
right
hand
in.
out. I'll help you up.
Are you looking at the article you sent me?
Yes.
What is up with Richie's outfit?
Wait, what
Explain.
Which one? I'm looking. There's numerous pictures. The first one.
Well, yeah, where he's got the weird hat and the glasses, and he looks like he's a Golden Girl.
I don't know. Do I put that?
He's thanking them.
Do I put
for
it
being
up?
a friend? Please.
Dang.
We need a reference.
All right. We've only got a couple minutes left.
I love Richie. I'm just saying, this may not be the best outfit. It's like Orianthe left some shit at the house, and he put it on.
I was not thinking of them, but okay. Daggone it. All right, I'm going to put this up. Thank you for being a friend.
I don't know what to say about that.
I don't know. I mean, but
maybe
he's
I'm being
still,
too hard.
his jacket still has, are those spikes? He's got studs on his jacket. That's an old Michael Jackson jacket.
It is.
Yeah.
Got that at an auction.
Yeah. The hat was slashes, but they put it in a dishwasher. And look at his hand. Look at that thing.
Oh my Lord, it is swollen, isn't it?
Look at that. I'm going to try to zoom in here. I'm sorry if you're not watching this. I can't. There we go.
Well, and that's another thing. The article made him sound heroic for performing in such pain.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh my God, how's he playing guitar? He must be just like the best to go out and play guitar, in this duress that he's in.
Oh, here we go. Here's a quote directly from the article. When Sambora commits, he commits, and he wasn't able to let his injury stop him from giving the people what they wanted. Despite over-the-top pain, that is literally in quotes, the former Bon Jovi guitarist performed 4 of the band's classics. He killed it. The fans were going nuts, but he was in so much pain. When he told the doctor he was going to the Derby, the doctor said, "You're out of your mind. See ya."
But his voice was fine. Right?
I guess.
He sounded fine.
There's 2 pictures from his article, and neither one of them are him with a guitar. He could have held it, and somebody else could have strummed it.
He could have had a headset
Bernie's.
Oh yeah, Kathy's never seen that movie, by the way.
Well, let me guess. She's probably not like Star Wars either. May the 4th be with you. A couple days ago.
But he could have wore a headset mic and saved himself some pain.
Did you see what Kathy wrote?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
Oh, Kathy, I swear. I'm not going to repeat it. If you want to know what it was, you have to go to the YouTube and look at the chat replay. It's not going to do it. That's the end of this episode because something's going on at Ace's house. It's haunted, apparently. We'll be back next week. And yes, Kathy, you're in rare form, and we hope you're in the same rare form next week. We will be back next week for our final episode before we both take a early summer break for a week. So yeah, I have no joke for you other than, again, I love your Metallic shirt.
Thank you. Metallic is my favorite heavy metal band.
Yes. Long live Metallic.